So we'll be able to have a double stack. So this will be like the cheapest double stack frame ever. Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at frames under $25. And the reason why I made this list is because I'm looking for frames to create budget builds. And I found that it was very difficult to find all of the 5-inch freestyle / racing frames for under 25 bucks. So I compiled a whole list, which we're going to go over. And not only go over, if you're a beginner, we're also going to cover some things you need to know before purchasing your frame or your parts, such as camera size, flight controller size, because you have two sizes for the flight controller, and some things to look out for, like a hole for the VTX mount to make your life easier, especially because nowadays most of the VTXs come with like a little cable that pops out into a little connector, and to be able to just install it into the frame makes your life so much easier than to come up with some really nasty solution with zip ties and some tape or something. So those are the things we're going to be covering in this video, especially for beginners. And I'll have everything linked down below in the order we check it out, which is from the cheapest to the most expensive. Now, before beginning, just a word from our sponsor. PCBWay is one of the leading PCB manufacturers that I even use on a daily basis, not only to do my projects, but also some of the products that I've designed that's currently in the market, like the drone mesh VUSB, and I'm constantly using them for prototyping, and I'm also using their assembly services, and they also do have flashing services for specific hardware requirements. So it's a really great place to have your PCB manufactured or prototyped. Okay, so right now this is the first cheapest frame I found. I haven't tested all these frames, but I'm just making the list so you can go ahead and check it out. They're really cheap. Some of them are clones of much more expensive frames, and I'm just going to give you the list and then you can do what you want, but it's always good to also support the original author or creator or designer of a frame. Now we start off with this one. It's a HGLRC. It's possibly a clone of something or possibly not. And it's a 5-inch, so it's a 210mm quadcopter here. It is a bottom mount, so you would put the battery on the bottom on this frame. And if we take a closer look on the spec sheet, we'll see that it'll take a 30.5 by 30.5mm flight controller in ESC. So we're just going to call this 30 by 30s in the upcoming frames that we're going to take a look at. So this will take 30 by 30, and the camera size is also very important. I don't know if they mention it anywhere here, but you'd have to use your eyes to kind of figure it out. Usually sometimes they tell you this is a really big camera, so it's a HS1177 type cameras, and there's 4 types of cameras currently in the market. There's these big ones, then it goes down to mini, and then it goes down to micro, and then it goes down to nano. I'm pretty sure none of these can take a nano. So in this case, if you wanted a new camera that would fit here, you'd probably want to go with a mini that comes with an adapter to make it the size of an HS1177. So we would call them the large cameras. So you want something that comes with an adapter, and that's how you'd actually get this to fit here. Now we can see again, we saw that it's 30 by 30 stack inside, and it has a hole for the VTX, which will make your life so much easier to install. So this is a really nice option for $16.50. That's pretty insane actually. Does it show us what it comes with here? Maybe. Oh wow, they even give you some standoffs, which is really nice. Also buy some standoffs, keep some extra standoffs with you whenever you can. It's really great. Next we have another one from the same company, and this one's $17.50. Now this is a clone of the Floss frame here. It's a 210mm. It is a 5-inch quadcopter, and we see we have 4mm arms, which is pretty good. And if we scroll down, let's see some of its specs, like the camera size and the flight controller size here. So far in the pictures, we see we're using the really large HS1177 type camera here. And for the flight controller, I see that it's using a 30 by 30 here. This is actually pretty old. So here's a really nice example. So it is using 30 by 30 and the 20 by 20. So you have more options with this frame. So you can go super ultra light build with this. That will be super efficient and everything if you wanted to do that. So, and again, you can also sometimes, it'll tell you down here what would fit. So here we have a Runcam Sparrow, and if you didn't know, you could just click on it and it'll open. So it's the big ones, as you can tell here. And again, if it's using these big ones, you can buy a mini and then with an adapter, and that'll work just fine. Or you can buy the one that they're just recommending here. And for flight control, like I told you, here's a 20 by 20 and here's a 30 by 30. So that's awesome into that perspective. And obviously it'll fit, everything here will fit the 22XX. So any 22 motor that starts with 22 and any motor that'll start with 23, this frame will fit, and most of the other ones in this list will as well. So next down the line is this one. It's $18. This is a pretty good frame. I've used it. The carbon fiber up top is very thin, so you do have a high probability of breaking it in a crash, and I've broken a couple before on this one. But overall, this is a freestyle build where you would put your battery up top. However, it's pretty old because this was a clone of the Alien that Mr. Steele uses or used to use a long time ago. It does have decent motor protection, which is really nice. The hardware is really terrible, so I'd recommend you get your own screws with this one. And it only takes 30 by 30 stacks, this one. So you're not gonna be able to put 20 by 20 unless you make some sort of an adapter. Yeah, so it takes 30 by, and it has a hole for the VTX. And it takes the big cameras. So again, you might have to find a mini that has an adapter in order for it to fit here. All right, and this one was 18 bucks. And again, they're all linked down below. So here we have the Floss 2 clone. It's $18.25. And let's see some of the specs here. So we're going to scroll down. This is meant for like an ultralight build. So it'll take 22XX motors. I'm pretty sure it'll take also 23XX. And here we see it takes 30 by 30 frame flight controllers. And for the camera, we have to maybe scroll down a bit. So we see it's a 30 by 30 here. Maybe we'll see the bottom. So when you see something like this usually, and there's no arms connected to the middle part, so this frame will take both a 20 by 20 stack and a 30 by 30 stack. So that's really nice in that perspective. But we still don't know what camera it uses. So we have to just double check. Oh, here we go. So I guess it's using the big camera. So again, you might have to find yourself a mini camera with an adapter. And I might have one linked down below if I remember. This one looks really nice. It's called the URUAV Next 220. So it's a 220 millimeter wheelbase. So it is a 5-inch quadcopter as well. And they even give you a clone of a Maytag PDB. I don't know if it's original, but they'll give you a power distribution board. So I don't know if you're going to need that. Nobody really uses those anymore, but it's really nice to have it. And let's scroll down and see some of its specs. This is new. So it's going to, I'm pretty sure it'll run 20 by 20, 30 by 30 stacks, which is for the flight controller, and even micro cameras. So this will hold a micro camera, really nice. The arm thickness is 5 millimeters. That's really great. So those are pretty thick because they are pretty thin. So we need them to be as thick as possible here. And we're just gonna get a closer look. It's kind of a strange alignment here. So it's pretty strange, I would say. I think it'll just only take 30 by 30 here. Now here's some 20 by 20 holes. Okay, so this is a pretty unique design. What is going on here is it has these boards levitated up, so you'll be able to put 30 by 30 boards. But if you wanted to put a 20 by 20 board, you could put them on the lower part of the frame right there. So that's pretty insane. I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool, I guess. And they give you a 3D printed part for the antenna, which is really well thought through. And you could even put it here, but it won't have a really good grip. So they'd give you that 3D printed part, which is really awesome. This will take, it'll use 2 motor screws to hold it in. This is the power distribution board they provide you. I think you're getting quite a lot for 20 bucks. I mean, there's nothing really to lose here. It's pretty thick and it takes most of everything. And again, this one will take micro cameras. So that's really nice. This one looks really nice. This company, HGLRC, I haven't really tested any of their stuff actually. I should start going more into budget stuff. So it has 4mm arms. So we know that right off the bat. We see it has a VTX. That's really great. Something to mount the VTX. And let's see what kind of flight controller and everything it takes. So for flight control, it'll take, forget the F3 and F4, anything will do, you know, even F7s. Well, you want to look at the size. So it'll take 30 by 30 and it'll take 20 by 20. And it looks really nice for some reason. I don't know, it looks kind of strange. What are those things? So that's pretty crazy. I've never seen anything like this. I guess it's like dampening. Okay, so this is pretty crazy. I guess these arms right here dampen the whole place where you're going to install your flight controller. Which is pretty insane. I've never seen anything like that before. But then again, something to stick out like this isn't really something you'd want, but it's up to you if you wanted to try this out, I guess. It is the carbon fiber itself that's sticking out, and it comes with these little rubber bands to hold that levitating flight controller area. That's pretty interesting. So it'll take, I guess, both 30 by 30 and 20 by 20. The 20 by 20 will be on the levitating stand. The 30 by 30 would be on the right on the bottom part of the frame here. So yeah, and again, this one's linked down below if you want to go ahead and check it out. Let's see this one. This one's nice. However, it's missing one thing in my opinion. It's not really a big deal breaker. It has 5mm arms, so that's really nice, but it's missing the VTX part here. And this looks like it might take a mini or a micro camera because it does look a bit thinner. So we're going to scroll down and see what it takes. So it'll take the MK2. So it takes just 30 by 30 from looking at it right now and what it's saying here. It'll fit the 22 and 23 size motors. And The thing is, the camera, they're not really mentioning anything about the camera here. Frame inner space height, camera install hold distance. So 25 millimeter. I need to double check that. But yeah, just double check the width of the camera. I'm not sure which one is the 25 millimeter part, but it could be either between a mini or a micro, I'm pretty sure, in that perspective. So you can just fit that in just fine. And again, yeah, it's only 30 by 30 stacks here. No real mounting way for the VTX antenna, but you can probably figure something out yourself here. Now this one I actually ordered. I really like the look of it, and I think it could be a clone of something. I don't know what. I don't keep track of all the frames that are being released, because some of them are just like, some frames are like 150 bucks, which I think is kind of ridiculous, no matter what kind of carbon fiber you use. The only reason that would give it, in my opinion, a reason to be that expensive, it is if it's a unibody, because that's, you know, it takes most of the carbon. But like this, you know, one sheet could cost you a maximum of like 300 bucks, and you could print out or cut out like more than 50 arms sometimes. So it, you know, yeah, you take it however you want here. But anyways, this right now is pretty cool because it has a mount for a GoPro. So, and it's a top mount battery frame. So you'd put the battery up here, and it has a hole for the VTX, and it looks really nice. It looks pretty modern. So let's see, 110 grams, that's really nice. So also this one might fly pretty quiet, or just quieter than some other quadcopters, because the bigger the millimeters we have here, like for example, if you put 5-inch props on a 6-inch frame, all of the propellers will get really clean air, and it'll just be super quiet. So yeah, the bigger this is, the quieter it'll be usually, it'll tend to be. And if we scroll down here, 4mm arms, upper plate 1.5, might be a bit too small for holding the battery up here. So this is 1.5 millimeter, the upper plate, which is kind of scary. Maybe it's a mistake. I don't know. And bottom plate 2 millimeter. Maybe there's more than one bottom plate. So we have 2 bottom plates basically. Let's double check. So for flight controller, just 30 by 30 stack. Yeah, and it just looks like a 30 by 30. And let's see, camera. They're not really mentioning the camera here, but I'm guessing it's going to be a big camera. Let's see if it has some dimensions here for us. Actually, it doesn't, which is really bad. Sometimes you can see down here, maybe someone will say something about the camera. So always check those also. I'll have it in anyways, and we'll know what kind of camera it'll take here. Here, this is a really nice one. It kind of looks like a clone of the iFlight frame, which was a really good frame. So 21 bucks is pretty good as well. It's 4 millimeters, 230 millimeter wheelbase. So it'll be kind of quieter than some other 5-inch quadcopters, because it's a little bit bigger. It'll give the motors or the propellers more space. So you could probably even put 5.1 inch props on there if you wanted to. 30 by 30. And we also have it's a 5-inch, obviously. Camera mounting with 28 millimeters. I need to double check this so we know which camera is that. But this is a very important part to take note of when you're looking at your cameras. Flight controller, again, we said 30 by 30, and that's basically it. And is this a top mount or a bottom mount? It's a top mount, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a top mount, because you can see on the inside here, it's kind of closed the area where if you wanted to put it bottom mount. But you can get creative if you want it to be bottom. But these are meant to be as a top mount battery frame, so you'd put the battery up top here. Now, something I like to look for, especially if I'm putting an HD camera, is well, we're not gonna be able to see it here, is these little side plates here for where the original FPV camera would go. If there's some slits up top, so I can put some zip ties to hold the GoPro mount or something. So this one's 21 bucks. Again, it's linked down below. And then we'll scroll through the other ones a little bit faster here. Here we have another one. This is supposed to be like an ultralight build here. 5 millimeter arms, because they are pretty thin in width. And let's see here. It'll take 30 by 30 stacks. But it's always good to just double check. Yeah, only 30 by 30 on this one. So the camera is going to be 25 millimeter in width. So double check that. All right, so I just checked the camera sizes. So for mini, it's 21 millimeters. And for the standard, it's around 28 millimeters. So it'll be kind of difficult. But since this is a 3D printed part, I personally probably would go with a mini with an adapter just in case here. So keep that in mind also. I'll try to get some of these in so we can check them out as well. So this one's 21 bucks here. This one's I found to be pretty interesting. It's also linked down below if you want to go ahead and check it out. We can also see the camera size and everything by looking at it. But what we already know is that from this standoff to that standoff is 30 millimeters, and this looks thinner. So we could kind of calculate it maybe. I'd probably say I don't think it'll be 28. I think this would fit a mini here, a mini or a micro. So you got to be careful. So I don't know what would fit on this one, which something they should actually look into. So here's another frame from Skyzone here. 5mm arms with some, what is it called? Aluminum here. And this is kind of like a ultralight build. Well, I don't want to say ultralight build, but kind of like a light build. That's all I think it would be here. And for everything, let's see, it doesn't even say the size of the flight controller, but that looks 30 by 30 to me. Camera doesn't say camera either. I don't know why they expect you to know what camera size. This looks pretty big. It's, yeah, I think it's going to take a full-fledged camera here, unless this is a 20 by 20 stack, but I'm pretty sure it's a 30 by 30 more than anything, but I could be wrong again. This one's really nice. 23 bucks. Check this out. That is just insane here. I really like how this one looks like. It has everything you need, sort of. I don't like the hole for the VTX back here, but that's fine. They're just 23 bucks. All of these are under 25 bucks, which I find to be actually pretty insane. So yeah, this one's a really nice one here. And this one's even nicer one, Slam Nasty. I think it's going to be a copy of somebody else's. It looks really nice. Takes, I think, both. Yeah, I'll take 30 by 30 and 20 by 20 here. And it does have a VTX mount. And I think it'll be a bottom mount or a top mount, whatever you choose, really. So that's really nice in that perspective. And again, these are all 5-inch. Union RC. This one's pretty cool also. I found it pretty interesting. These, you know, above the $20 mark, between the $20 and $25 mark are the ones that I really like. Here's one. It's called the Venom. This one I got one on the way. I don't know if it's a clone of something, but it's not about the design. I just like the overall build construction, like the way that I'd actually lay everything out. And if we take a closer look at the back bottom here, like right there, it seems like we were able to put even another 30 by 30 and 20 by 20 stack. So we'll be able to have a double stack. So this would be like the cheapest double stack frame ever. And that's something really cool and I really like, actually. I like these double stack stuff. And camera, I don't know if it even mentions what size camera you'll be able to place on this thing. It doesn't really say, does it? Frame space, height. Nope, doesn't say. So you're going to have to get creative or look at the questions that people have down below. So I'll leave that up to you. Here's the Alien Slam. This could be a copy of new Mr. Steely's. There's a basic version and standard version. And I think it's just the thickness of the arms here. So I don't know what's changing here. But here we can see that it's actually using full-fledged, you know, the large type of cameras you'd want to put in this one here. And I think it'll take just 30 by 30. Yeah, I think this is just 30 by 30 stacks here. It's a little bit lower, so you're going to get kind of creative here with how you set everything up. There is no hole for the VTX SMA port also, so keep that in mind. Here's another really nice one. It has the hole, and it's an up top mount here. This is a freestyle frame here, 3K carbon. Everything will say 3K carbon now, so you don't really know. So again, this is a True X design and asking for a top mount battery here. And for optimal center of gravity, so it'll fly really nicely here. It looks nice, actually. It does look really nice, like a really nice freestyle frame to have. I think this one I have maybe, and I actually built it a long time ago, but I didn't really fly it. Now what's really cool with this, you can get it 5-inch, you can get it 6-inch, and you can even get it 7-inch. The price will increase when you go to 7-inch because obviously it's more carbon fiber, but not by much. You can go up just 30 bucks is the maximum here. So that's really cool. And again, you can figure out what size everything is. These are pretty much really well labeled, better than the other ones here. You can see the upper bottom plates and everything. This one I found pretty interesting also. 25 bucks. And if you like this, you can get it. It's pretty cool, I guess. I never used it before, so I can't really say much about it. So yeah, and we just have one more. And the real ACC, this is a really old frame. It's a unibody, as you can tell. They don't make these anymore. They're more expensive, and people were complaining that because if you break it, you need to change the whole bottom plate. But I used to personally love the unibody design because there's less chances of anything coming undone and the arms start twitching and you won't even know it's twitching, and it's creating more problems. This was a really nice frame. I still have a couple of them. I have a waterproof build, which I'm going to do another waterproof build with this frame. It's really cool. This was a really old frame. You can kind of see that. Parts are still available, which is something also very important. And it flies really good, actually. Default tune flies really great out of Betafly. So I really like this frame. You can get 3mm and 4mm, so you can even get it for cheaper here. And it does even come with a PDB if you needed it. And well, that's it guys. I'll have everything linked down below, and keep checking back. I might be able to get some coupons for some of these if you wanted some, but I highly doubt. Maybe this one probably, or just, you know, the Banggood branded ones. I'll see if they can provide some coupons. So keep checking back. Maybe you'll find a coupon here or two that'll give you something pretty cool. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and if it's too long, let me know. I'll make a shorter version. And if you guys want to see some ESCs, some that I've tested, because I've tested more ESCs than frames, flight controller list, and anything of that nature, let me know down in the comment section, and I'll make sure I take a look at that. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a great day. Peace out.